Hello Redditors, welcome back to Tales Against Humanity. Now, let's get started. In today's episode,
we're spending too much on printing, I want accountability. I've posted a few stories about Big Boss, here's another. Big Boss was chairperson of the university department I worked in. Personally, he was generally nice, could be very generous, but he had a cheap streak when it came to spending on supplies and infrastructure. So, one day I get a call from admin person. Big Boss is upset about how much money we are spending on printing, paper and toner. He thinks there's a lot of waste and we need to cut back. Okay, I ask, how much are we spending? Admin doesn't know, but Big Boss came in early one day, found a stack of pages in the copier/printer out tray, and blew a gasket. So, can I find out how much we are spending? Turns out it was pretty easy. We bought all our paper from a single campus source, so it was easy to dig that up. We had a contract for our big copier/printer, so that was easy to find, and I did all the purchasing for toner for the desktop printers we had scattered around, so I had those records. In a couple of hours I had a year's worth of data and gave it admin and Big Boss. From this he instituted a couple of changes. Everyone had to have a code for the copier so we could track individual usage, great idea. Turned out we had some students who were sneaking in on weekends on copying entire textbooks when electronic copies weren't available. Big Boss also wanted me to set up print logging by user so we could figure who the big printer hogs were. I hadn't done this before, but we used a Linux print server, so I found out what packages I needed and set it up. At the end of the month I dumped the print log info and had it nicely outputted, ready to be stuck on a web page of shame if need be. And to no one's surprise, the project stopped there. Big Boss was far and away the greatest print user in the department. I mean, he printed twice as many pages as the next highest person on the list. As chairperson, some of this was surely proper, but I also knew he liked to print personal stuff. A lot. So, we ended up not putting the info up on our website. At least until he rotated out of being chairperson. Be careful what you wish for, you just might get it. Story 2. Unable to remote into my desktop. I have been working in BPO IT service desk for years now and encountered some users whose common sense took a vacation from their minds. One such story is that from my last account their employees are, we call, hybrid, that some weeks they're in the office and some are at home controlling their office PC using remote desktop in their Citrix page. This one caller, since she was having network issues at home, she was permitted to go to the office. She called us in and said unable to remote into her computer. So that being said, I assumed she's at home, so I pinged her workstation and couldn't get a response. I asked if she could call to the office to ask someone to try restarting the computer or to check if it's on or have network connection. Then she informed me she is at the office and seating next to her computer, so I probed her more than the full story came to light. Continuing on from her home network issue, her office desktop have no connection, so she logged into the desktop next to hers and logged into Citrix to remote into her no network desktop. In the end, I explained to her that what she is trying to do is impossible, since in order for you to remote into the computer itself needs to be on and online. So I logged the ticket and sent to their local IT to fix the computer to be online again. TLDR, user tried to remote into an offline computer. Story 3. Consultant needs access to the server. I, me, work as the sole IT guy TM for a small company. We use SharePoint/OneDrive, but still have a legacy file server around that is hardly used. Last week, our head accountant, $H, gets a hold of me and the conversation goes like this. $H, hey $me, we have this consultant that needs access to the server, can you help him out? $me, sure. What does he need access for? $H, we have these reports that we have to run. $me, okay, so he needs to upload these reports weekly or something? It seems like SharePoint would be a better fit for this, since we're kind of trying to deprecate the file server and you need to be on our network to access it. $H, he said it doesn't work on SharePoint, it has to be on a server. $me, so he's not just uploading a report? $H, why don't you give him a call and see what he needs, I'm sure he can explain it better. So I give this guy a call, we'll call him Clueless Consultant, $CC. The back and forth doesn't matter, but basically I get that there isn't any tool or software being installed, it's just a bunch of spreadsheets. The idea is that Operations Manager, $OM, will be generating a couple of reports from a web app that we use, copy/pasting the data into one of $CC's spreadsheets, and then it generates some nice graphs and stuff on a rolling basis. He said he will be in the office next week to show $OM how it works, so I'd get with him then and we'd sort out his access. Next week comes around and I set him up a domain user that only has access to a new folder I made him on our file server that $OM and $HA also have access to. He connects, starts uploading his spreadsheets, and it seems like we're golden. Until that evening when I get an email from him with $HA and $OM CC'd. $CC. Hey $me, I didn't realize that I and $HA and $OM won't be able to connect to the server from outside the network, even though I told him that on the phone, and was the main reason that I suggested SharePoint over the file server, but whatever. Can you provide some space on SharePoint to sync this folder, path the file server, then we each can sync from SharePoint using OneDrive to our own PCs? This way we can have two-way sync and can manipulate from home. $ME, hi $CC, it's not possible to sync folders from an external server to SharePoint. I've gone ahead and created a SharePoint site and added the three of you as members, and copied everything from file server to it. You should receive an email invitation, and here's the link you mentioned it might not work if it's in SharePoint, so if that's the case we can work on some other solution. $CC, yeah, we'll need to host it on a computer. Problem is I'll need a computer for a couple days to edit the links. Do y'all have an extra computer with 16 megabytes RAM? I could take that for a couple days and get it all set up on that. At this point I'm still confused, but the pieces are starting to come together. I've got a sinking feeling that maybe this guy doesn't really know what he's doing. So the next day when I get into the office I head to the conference room that he is using as his temporary office. $me, what's the reason this won't work in SharePoint? In the video demo that you showed $OM, the path of all of these demo files are in your OneDrive, which is the same thing as SharePoint on the backend. Can you show me the links you need to edit? $CC, yeah, so when I do it on my computer it's fine, because it's pointing to the files on my computer. When I do it in the cloud it doesn't work, it says there aren't any links. That's why it needs to be on a computer so I can point it to the right files. I guess we could put it on $OM's computer, but then I'd need access to his computer to update the links. Have you used Power Automate Query? He opens the spreadsheet that he uploaded to the server the previous day and show me how he clicks on one of the cells that is referencing an external workbook, and then changes the workbook by clicking on it from the File Explorer. I take a look in Data Queries and Connections and sure enough, my fears realized. Data source. Error, could not find a part of path C:\users \clueless consultant \OneDrive, consulting firm \clients \my company \reports \utilization \activites. XLSX. $CC, see, so it's pointing to the file on my computer, so I need to update it to point to the file on the server. $me, so. What happens if need to move this to a different computer? If we put it on this server and it gets decommissioned, or if we put it on $OM's PC, what if he leaves the company or wants to delegate to someone else? Would we need to then have you come and update all the links? $CC, well. Yes. $me, here's an idea. Instead of putting in the users folder, why not just put in C:\, since every computer has a C:\. Drive. That way we can use it on any computer that we want. It's a lot simpler and more modular that way. Just change all the links from C:\users \clueless consultant \OneDrive, consulting company, LLC \general, consulting \clients my company \phase 2 prioritizing and implementing \0 for reporting \utilization \reports \activities. XLSX. 2. C:\reports \activites. XLSX. $CC, oh, yeah, I guess that could work. I have to edit all the links at least once to get them off my computer anyway, so I might as well just change them to point to the C:\. Drive? $me, yeah. Why don't you go ahead and do that? As I'm leaving he asks one more parting question. $CC, hey, do you know VBA? $Me, no, unfortunately not. I've dabbled here and there, but it's been too many years for me to remember anything remotely useful. $CC, dang, that would really save me some time, I think. I've tried to use it before but couldn't figure it out. It takes me like 5 or 6 hours to update all these links. $Me, that's rough, buddy. Story 4. Sometimes there's just no pleasing people. Another tale from the olden days, the 1980s. I was a supervisor for a field service and support for a computer company. We had recently sold a complete system to a local public agency, nothing new for us. We had hundreds of customers who were similar. The director at this agency had picked D to be the site contact and project manager, and she had a few issues. The contracts were billed by certain milestones: contract signing, installation, database conversion, final sign-off. Hardware maintenance, my part, was billed by installation date mostly. 90-day warranty, and then we added items as they were installed, again 90-day warranty. So, we install the main system, run an acceptance test, customer signs off, warranty starts. Small peripherals, mostly terminals, were added as the customer requested. However, in order for our training staff to work, we had to have a number of their terminals installed temporarily, and we moved them later when training was over. So we'd install 10 terminals in a conference room and the customer would rotate staff through until everyone was trained. We had been doing this for years and no one ever had a problem. Until D. The project manager for my company called me. D had an issue with the training setup. Could I call her? I'm a bit surprised, but dealing with customers is my job, so I call D and ask what the issue is. D launches into speech about how my company is trying to rip her off. Why should she use her terminals for training? Why should the warranty be used up for something my company needs? This is outrageous. She will not allow our technicians to unbox and install her terminals. This goes on a bit and I'm dumbfounded. I don't really have an answer and she's really heated. There's a sense that us greedy corporate folks are trying to take advantage of poor public agency. She winds up on a very high horse. Did we do this to other customers? What did they think about our slimy attempt to cheat them? I couldn't think of anything to say other than, I don't know what they thought, no one ever complained before. D knew we had been selling systems to agencies like hers for 10 years, so now she's kind of painted herself into a corner with all the indignation. I'm trying to think of a way out, so she can save face at least, but doesn't lock my company into some kind of giveaway. I tell her I'll talk to various people at my company and see what the options are. I went and talked to project manager for the product in our office and tell him what happened. He blows up. D has been fighting him on all kinds of tiny issues. She totally does not trust anyone in our company. He's been trying to work around her, but she is the designated contract officer. He and I work out that if she'll let us use her terminals for training, we'll agree to not start the warranty until they are installed in their final locations. Not a big deal, we lose a little bit of revenue, but if it gives D a win and makes her feel better, it's worth it. D accepted our offer and later we found out she was actually under a doctor's care for anxiety and was on medication. She eventually was moved out of the project manager position while she got treatment.